From Reminder Media, this is Stay Paid, a sales and marketing podcast on a mission to help you close more deals and retain more business. Hosted by the VP of Marketing, Josh Steik, and Reminder Media's president, Luke Akery. So get ready to hear the golden nuggets that will allow you to live a life of freedom tomorrow, but only if you take action today.
Welcome to another Silver Dollar episode of Stay Paid, the best sales and marketing tips of your week in 15 minutes or less. My name is Joshua Steik.
And I'm Luke Akery.
Luke, you know this, but I'm going to tell the audience also. We are huge advocates of holistic lead generation. We have no bias for or against any way to generate a lead.
It sounded like you had some bias in your tone when you did that.
No, this is like I write these intros and they sound like I think they look so poetic on the page. And then whenever I say them out loud, like that just sounds corny.
It's just corny. No bias. We might have a little bias.
We have a little bias.
But we're trying to be open-minded.
Towards the relationship.
Try to be.
Referral marketing.
Yeah,
Look,
if you're not doing referrals, you're an idiot.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. For this episode of Stay Paid, I'm Joshua Steik. No, look, you got Google ads, you got Facebook ads, you got email marketing, direct mail. There's no shortage of ways to keep your pipeline full. But one way that we don't talk about a ton is this idea of circle prospecting and how it can really be an incredibly effective way to get your name out to a community as well as generating leads for your business.
The reason why circle prospecting was also on my mind from a topic standpoint is I'm hearing a lot of people talk about it in the coaching world. So there's a lot of coaches that are part of the Tom Ferry organization that are talking about it. You got Ricky Carruth who's talking about it all the time.
Is it one of those things that it's kind of come back around, like not to be funny, but full circle? Like, has it kind of come back around, or are you seeing people do like new and innovative?
One of the reasons why I think it's coming back around is because it is a seller's market, and circle prospecting is, when it was created, at least in the real estate side, was a strategy to try to get more sellers. Yeah. Because statistically speaking, I forget where it's from, but I think it's like 2 more listings will come up within a neighborhood within like 12 to 24 months of a listing coming on the market.
Yeah.
So the idea, and I'll give you the definition, this is from theclose.com, what they put. They said circle prospecting is a lead generation and marketing strategy that relies on the premise that homeowners who live nearby your recently listed or closed home will want to know about it. So the idea is that you're building kind of a mini farm.
So the idea being someone sells a home, out. Everyone in the community sees that and they go, oh, I wonder what my home would sell
Exactly.
for.
And so it's literally called circle prospecting because it's like, there's the home you sold or there's the transaction you did. Like it doesn't have to be real estate. Think roofing company, right? Think, statistically speaking, other people get their roofs done, pools, right? So you circle out from there and you reach out to all those neighbors. The one change I would make to their definition that the close put is, I don't believe it has to be your listing, right? So if you're a new agent listening to this and you're like, I don't have a listing or something like that, it doesn't have to be it could be a FSBO. The idea and the concept is the neighbors that are close to this FSBO, close to this expired listing, close to a listing that came on the market that's not mine, might want to know that information.
Yeah.
So I'm going to call and give that.
Well, that's one way. So calling up, absolutely. So, but talk through some different ways that you can actually apply circle prospecting. How do you get the data? How do you start reaching out to them? What are some different ways?
Yep. So this is probably not an all-encompassing, but I wrote down a couple different ways that I see traditionally people use. So door knocking is one that has been tried and true for real estate agents. And specifically, I wrote down like door knocking, and especially if you're doing like an open house. So like the strategy would be, you're going to do a mega open house this weekend, go knock on the closest 25, 50 doors, and you literally can do circle prospecting around that open house, invite them specifically to the open house. You can go door knock in that neighborhood. It allows you to get face-to-face with those people. And we can talk a little bit when we get there about what you're trying to collect. Second way, and this is the way I would say you should do, is through phone calls. So literally getting the names and numbers and calling the people. One piece of advice I would give here is that you want to think about how far you go out from the actual listing that you have or the sale that you have. And the reason why is because it might be that 3 neighborhoods over, even though you can reach them from a door knocking standpoint or from a call standpoint, they might not be interested in that listing. They might not be interested
with them just due to geographically.
Proximity. So the idea or the example I've heard before is like if it's condominiums, right? And then you get out and you're 2 neighborhoods over and it's single family homes,
completely different
it's
market.
completely different.
Buyer,
and you
seller,
correct. You can also have a point where you go and you're sharing info about a condominium selling, and it makes the person go, oh, you can't work with me because I don't have a condominium, and I don't care. So that type of idea. So something to think about. Another one that is tried and true is mailers. You can actually circle prospect with mailers. So if you think you get a listing, you send just listed cards to the closest 200 neighbors.
Yep.
You sell that listing, you send just sold cards to the closest 200 neighbors type idea. You're circling around.
Great message on those cards. Do you know what your home's worth? Or do you
Yes.
know what your home is worth in this market? Making it timely to what's going on in the
Most people want to know, so apply it to the roofing. Most people want to know, when do I need to have a roof? How do I know if my roof is bad or not bad? What would it cost to actually get a roof put on my house? Like if I see my neighbor 3 doors down getting a roof put on, I'm curious, I don't know when I'm supposed to get my roof done. You start looking
at the green stuff on your roof.
Gutters.
And you start thinking about,
right.
Yours looks really nice.
All that stuff. Here was a really cool strategy, and this is actually a strategy we're going to try with ReminderMedia, voicemail drops. So a voicemail drop, and I think it's like Sly Dial is a company that does it. There's a lot of them that do it, but you can literally record a pre-recorded voicemail. And this, of course, is if you have the numbers. So this applies to not only circle prospecting, but your database and stuff. It will drop that voicemail into that list of numbers. So we're going to try for a lot of our past clients because we have a ton of new features, a ton of new products that have come out. So I'm going to record a voicemail and we're going to drop a voicemail.
Super simple way just to introduce yourself. Almost the same thing you would do when you're door knocking, saying the same thing, introducing yourself as the local professional here. You just sold a home in the area. Would love to see if you are interested in seeing what your home is worth or kind of taking that next step. Yep.
There's a great one. You can Google this. There's a great, it's like a Tom X talk. So at Tom Ferry's conference, he had a real estate agent. This is where I got this idea from. So I want to give her credit. She did a voicemail drop for 1,200 people, and she got 200 responses, and it turned into like 2 listings and 3 buyers for her just from doing a simple voicemail drop. It was pretty awesome.
We also have a podcast on door knocking. So you can door knocking. So you could go back and check that one out. I don't know what the number is, but we kind of walk through an agent that we had seen on another interview. They walked through their specific door knocking strategy, including the scripts that they would use, what they would bring. So it's a great episode to go and listen to. If you're thinking, okay, I want to try circle prospecting, not quite sure how you do it, we lay it all out there. All right, so talk about some, speaking about how to do it, some strategies, some tips for circle prospecting. How can people get the data? What tools do you need if you're gonna do this?
So obviously it starts with the data, right? So if you're going to do a voicemail drop, you got to have phone numbers, right? If you're going to try to reach out to people through the phone, that type of idea. A couple companies I wrote down: RedX, Vulcan 7, Mojo, and Cole Realty Resource. So those 4 different companies I know off of data. I've had clients that have used all of them, right? So there's a lot of people that swear by different ones. So hear a lot of good things about a lot of those companies. Check them out. They can get you the data. And I believe a lot of them scrub it against the do not call list. Right. So you want to make sure you're not calling people that are on the do not call list. Second thing that you want to do from a tool perspective to help you be efficient is a dialer system. So if you used a RedX, for example, they can give you a power dialing system, or a Mojo can give you a dialer system. A lot of your CRMs that you use out there have dialers built in. It is really important you get yourself on the dialer system because it could take you from literally doing 20 calls to doing 100 calls. Our callers here, we have a click to dial system and they're doing 200 calls a day. So get yourself a dialer system. 3, I already gave this tip, but I want to make sure I hammer it home, is you want to circle prospect as far as the info is relevant. So if it's relevant information, you could go out miles if you feel it's relevant for the community that you live in. So I grew up in Fluvanna County, Virginia. I mean, you don't have a lot of close neighbors, right? So you might have to have circle prospecting that's miles, but that's still relevant because the way those people are and they know, I don't have a neighbor down the street. I have a neighbor that's 2 miles from me type idea. 4th, I would say your goal with circle prospecting is so important to understand. Your goal is not necessarily that you're calling and you're going to get a transaction. Your goal is that this is an incredible opportunity to build your database that statistically should turn between 10 and 17% a year into transactions for you. You're building that database. You're building your brand in the community that you're circle prospecting to. And this is why a lot of people say, where should you circle prospect? The same place you're trying to build your farm. Where are you trying to be the dominant source of business, whether you're in contracting, insurance, real estate? What is that area that you want people, when they think of this profession, this expertise, they think of you? You need to be circle prospecting there because it gets some human interaction a lot of times if you're door knocking or cold calling. So make sure that when you are doing this, your goal is to grow your database. What info should you collect? You should collect contact information, specifically email addresses. You already have their physical address, right? So email addresses, and get permission to text them. So a really easy way to do this if you're in real estate is, hey, would love to give you a free comparative market analysis of your home. So this will tell you what your home's worth, how much equity you have in your home. Hey, would love to text it to you. Can I text you the link to your CMA?
Yeah.
And you can get their text, and then you can follow up with a text message next time, and they know who it is.
That's an awesome strategy for getting that permission to text. Also, the idea of setting expectations in your mind keeps you, because so often, like, it's the excuse we get for not door knocking. It's like, well, I knocked on 200 doors, I didn't get a single deal. Yeah, but that's not what you're going in.
That's not what you're trying to do. You're trying to build your database.
To build that database, and once you set the proper expectations, you'll start to see the results actually line up with those expectations. You'll stick with it longer. Sure.
And what you're trying to do is you're trying to go, the person who is moving. Don't you here? I'll frame it up for you this way. If you're a real estate agent listening to this, if someone's looking to move next May, and they live in your neighborhood right now, wouldn't you want to know that? Just because you're calling them and they don't turn into a transaction today, but wow, next May they're looking. So your goal, think about it that way. Yeah. So what is other info you want to collect? You want to collect, well, how long have they lived in their house? Are they in their dream home?
Yep.
Like, do they ever plan to move? Is this their forever home? If they moved, where would they move to?
Yeah.
If they move, what is the price? What would make them move? Yeah. You ever seen the Zillow Make Me Moves, Josh?
Yep.
What's your price? Like, what would make you move?
What would make me move?
You get what I'm saying?
Chicken sandwich.
Oh, this guy's cheap. Call him up, real estate agents. His number is 610-878. No.
But I love, you also mentioned here in the notes, the idea of studying your market, like making sure that when you go in, you know your stuff. So preparing ahead of time so that you can have those conversations, which present you as the expert.
I think a lot of people call them the hot sheets. If you're not a real estate agent or any profession, looking at your hot sheets, like understanding your market, what's happening, all that good stuff. So like if you're in real estate, average days on market, list to sale price, all that type of stuff, you want to be able to present that with confidence. What else is on the market? Right. So all these things will build trust, credibility. It's a valuable resource to help you keep in touch. Ricky Carruth would teach you, build your database. Your goal is to collect an email address that you can then send one email a week to for the rest of their life till they die.
Love it. There you go. There's circle prospecting for real estate or other industries. Mm-hmm. We mentioned a lot of other different potential industries in there, obviously taking advantage of the activity in the neighborhood and reaching out to other people in that area to generate business and begin to build your database. Thank you so much for listening. You can head on over to staypaidpodcast.com for the show notes. We'll include, I know you rattled off those tools really quickly, so we'll include some lists there that you can use as a reference to support the show. We'd love it if you'd subscribe on Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review, and comment to let us know how we're doing. The best way to help out the show is to tell a friend, share this episode on your social media, or do a voicemail drop with this episode. Just drop this episode on every voicemail.
Please do that.
Ever.
If you want to get hold of me or Luke, you can email us at podcast@remindermedia.com. And of course, you can follow us on Instagram. We're at Stay Paid Podcast. I have a joke.
Thank God.
Yeah, you were making me nervous there. You started doing your outro.
I just had to switch it up.
Nice.
I've been listening back.
Keeping us on our toes.
Yeah, keep on toes. Speaking of keeping on your toes, this is my joke. Sorry, sir. We don't serve time travelers here. A time traveler walks into a bar. For this episode, comment if you got. Comment in the YouTube video.
I don't think I got
it. I didn't get it. Luke, did you get that?
Sorry, sir. We don't serve time travelers here. A time traveler walks into a bar. Should I explain?
Yeah, explain it.
Okay,
explain.
Most jokes start with,
So-and-so
this person walks into a bar. So it's a time traveler walks into a bar. The bartender says, sorry, sir, we don't serve time travelers here. But it happened in reverse because he.
So is it the time traveler telling this
Oh my
story?
gosh, that is such a hard joke to understand. I feel dumb.
I thought that was like a Yoda moment.
Yeah, geez. Good gosh.
For this episode of Stay Paid, I'm Joshua Stike.
I'm Luke K. Cree, and I'm still trying to wrap my brain around that. Just here's the action item. Circle prospecting is easier than understanding that. Okay, so understanding a joke, circle prospecting is easier. Try circle prospecting for your next listing, your next just sold that you have. If you don't have one of those, find one that you can circle prospect around. Take action, because the difference between top producers and mediocre producers is they don't sit around. They don't get paralysis by analysis. They take action. Take action on that today.